I've been waiting all my life for this one.
All right, folks.
Hey.
How you doing? Chris, did you want to say something right away?
No, I'm gonna save it for the camera, man.
Good,
See that?
good.
I'm smart.
Good,
I'm
good.
always he gonna win all the off the camera stuff, and then I'm gonna get it when it counts.
Good. Well, we are on now. So how you doing, everybody? I am Johan. This is Charleston. Today's guest joining us from Michigan. We have former CFL
Flint, Michigan.
Flint,
Yes,
Michigan.
sir.
Flintstone.
We have
Yes,
former
sir.
CFL, former NFL, then back to the CFL player, Mr. Chris Wilson. Chris, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing all right. I was waiting to hear the fake radio applause.
You can get it from me.
There we go. We edit that in.
We don't have too many BC / Alouette / Washington Redskins fans up here in the prairies, so
Right.
we might have to edit that in and do that. How you doing, Chris? How's life treating you?
Man, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just getting adjusted. Living here in Michigan. Doing a whole lot. You know, I'm at that age where three beautiful kids, beautiful wife. My kids are 12, 10, and 7, getting ready for Christmas. So
Yeah,
you know, it's crazy right here.
So how do you guys know each other? Obviously, you guys went Michigan boys. You guys, I know that know each other from back in the day, but you guys went to the same college too. Northwood.
Saginaw better than Flint and everything anyway.
Oh my goodness.
And the trash talk begins.
And we all know that what's known does not need to be said. So by him saying that, you know the truth. So basically what happened, it was some Northwood University, a small school in Midland, Michigan.
Yeah.
Decided to recruit some Flintstones. We got there and we tore it up so bad. They figured like we might as well get this Saginaw guy a shot too. So when Chuck got up there, you know, he came at just the right time. You know, I don't think Northwood won much before we got there. They sure hadn't won much since we left. So you know, Chuck fell right into the culture, and you know, we was able to win some games. But yep, that's how I know college and both being from Michigan.
Nice. Chuck, what do you got to say about your days back with Chris back in college?
Man, I was young though when he came there. Well, we played 1 year together, 1 or 2 years together.
We played what? 4 years together, man.
Really? I'm old, man. I took a lot of hits.
You came out 05, right?
06.
Oh, you came out in 06.
Yeah, I came out in 2006 was my last season.
But it was the 05 football season, right?
No, 06 football season.
07 college.
Yep, 07 college.
Yeah. So we played 3 years together then.
So I played 02, 03, and you 04.
04. I graduated in football season 04, class 05.
Yeah, we only played 2 together, brother.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't play in 2002 because I was one of those Prop 48 guys. So I didn't play in 2002. My first year playing was 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006.
Oh, you fell into a freaking gold mine. So your first year playing, you played behind me, Fees, Rope.
Exactly. Yeah. My first year on the field was 2003. I came in 2002, but I couldn't practice. All I could do was go to school. Man. But in 2003 was my first practice and playing season.
Man, so basically, what he's trying to say is he was on the bubble. So that's why he was just doing whatever we was telling him to do. I'll tell you what. I got one story about Chuck, and like I said, I don't got a bunch of embarrassing stuff about Chuck, but because I'm older than Chuck and we was winning, you know, you don't hear too many humbling stories about Chuck because Chuck always winning, right? We played against Hillsdale, and they ran this little play. I still know everybody's playbook in the GLIAC, but they ran this little play, and I'm like, man, if they don't block me, I'm finna go hit this fullback in his face. he was like, man, you gotta contain, man. You gotta contain. I said, no, I ain't containing, man. You contain. He behind me like, man, you gotta contain. Well, he already knew what I was gonna go do because I did it all through practice. Like, man, I'm telling you, I don't care what the coach say. That's what I'm gonna do. But, Chuck was athletic enough to adapt to me, so I took advantage of it. But I went and hit this fullback, and he had to go get the end around. And we tell Chuck what to do, man. Chuck was so doggone athletic. We was all using Chuck. Like, hey, Chuck, man, I'm gonna do this. Like, hey, he was our linebacker behind us, so our D line was our strong. So we was doing whatever we wanted to do. Chuck cleaned up the mess. We'd be like, I used to tell him, I just want the tackles for losses, man. I let him have everything else.
So that's how it was back in the day, eh? Charleston was one of those guys who would clean up the rest, eh?
Yeah,
hey,
man.
you paid to be a linebacker, but the thing about being a linebacker is you always got to cover up the mistakes that your D-line makes. So it's always making them look good every time anyways.
And we knew this.
That's good. You play to your strengths. You guys know each other. You guys can play off each other and be able to do that. So, Chris, tell me a little bit about then you coming up to Canada. You came up and played a year, with BC. And won a Grey Cup,
Yes,
your first year in the CFL. You win the Grey Cup. He's gonna.
I don't even know this story. I don't know how he got to Canada because I knew nothing about Canada. I just knew that I think Chris went up there to Canada somewhere. So that's all I knew a little bit about. He went up there, but I didn't keep track of it. I just knew that he went and played somewhere.
Really? So you didn't even keep track? You didn't even keep touch with Chris after?
I knew he went to Canada to play football, but I didn't know about the league. I didn't know much about it. Look at him. He done pulled the ring.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, baby.
There you go. 2006. Yeah. There you go. Man. So how was that then? You coming from Michigan? There you go.
That showing up. That 4K.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing got some diamonds on it too.
06.
Yeah.
See, I was still in university at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was showing them the way. That's what big brothers do, man. We gotta look out and show them how to do it.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at you. Cut that phone call off.
Yeah, I'm trying to take it out.
Tell them they got to wait. You showing your championship ring off your CFL ring. I can't wait to hear this story though. Like I've yet to hear this from him about how he got to the CFL, who scouted you, who recruited you to come to BC.
Oh wow. You never heard this story? This is a great story.
All right. Spill the beans.
Check it out. I didn't learn this story until my second year with the Redskins. Now as the Washington football team.
Okay.
So this is what happened. You guys familiar with Louis Riddick, right?
Yeah, he recruited me to go to the Eagles. Yeah.
Louis Riddick. So he got to be the smartest guy in football, right? This dude is recruiting guys that's better than draft picks, man. I told a guy, I said, the Lions just lost their head coach in GM. They was like, Chris, man, they need you up there. I said, man, if they gave me that head coaching job, I would hire Louis Riddick as my GM. And then I would go in the room with him and say, all right, what should we do?
Yeah, pick some talent.
That's just smart, man. That's just a great coaching right there. So Louis Riddick, and this is a great lesson. Louis Riddick was scouting me he was scouting somebody else. Now he wouldn't tell me who he was scouting. He was scouting somebody else, and he started watching game tape. You see the highlight. They started watching game tape on this guy, and he said as he was watching this game, you know how they ask you what's your best game, what's your worst game. They're watching this game. He said he's watching the game on the guy, and he said 99 just kept flashing. 99 was everywhere. He's just running around, just being so disruptive, making plays. And, this guy made some plays. He said, but 99 was just every single play, just on the ball, man, every single play. And he was just so tenacious. He said, man, who was this 99? He said, so he watched another game on the guy. Same thing happened. He said, it's 99 showing up. So he stopped scouting this guy. He started scouting me. Honest to God, true story. And you know,
are you pointing at me when you say this guy, or are you just saying? Yeah,
no, it was a guy on the same team as me.
Oh, I know who you talking
in
about.
06.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was scouting. He won't tell me. He said he was scouting a player on that championship team, and then he said I was so freaking tenacious. He started scouting me, and he brought me in for a workout, and that was all she wrote, man. So that's just a real lesson that you don't think anybody's watching that. And I'll be honest about it, man. My stats weren't great. I had 8 sacks. That ain't bad. Chuck went up there and was the freaking sack leader. Cameron Wake came after me. I think he had 24 sacks or something. I had 8 sacks. I went to the NFL because I was tenacious, and the smartest man in football happened to be my scout and said, "Man, forget that." And you know, obviously, there was some truth to it because I was able to play 5 years there. You know, earning the pension and having a decent career, and yeah, man, just keeping after it.
So when you got to Canada, what was your first reaction? You're in Vancouver, beautiful city. You know, my brother lives there now. You know, what was your first reaction playing in CFL? How hard was it to be able to adjust to the rules? Because I'm assuming you didn't know fuck all about the CFL coming from Flint, Michigan, about the rules and everything like that. You know, and Charleston talks about how he, you know, got here, and we just talked to John Bowman last week too, or a few weeks ago.
I know, bro.
You know, so you know, John Bowman came to Canada in June in Montreal in a winter parka and a toque, you know, and it was plus 38, you know, in Montreal. So, you know, what was your experience? What do you remember first about landing in Vancouver, you know, being from Michigan and just being in the CFL the first year?
I remember being in that. It was weird. I remember at the beginning of the plane ride being very upset, feeling like I should have went to the NFL. And then I remember some advice I got, you know, back. So I was mad at playing JV football in the 10th grade. I thought I should have played varsity. And I was so mad that, you know, my pops would hear me kind of talking about it around the house. Like, I should be on varsity, this, that, and the third. And, you know, one day he got tired of just hearing me complain about it. He said, all right, man, you're supposed to be on varsity. You prove it then, you know. Play on that JV team and let everybody. We ought to be able to tell.
Yeah.
If it's true. So we ended up we lost one game that year. We almost went undefeated, and I proved it. And it was kind of that same scenario. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna prove I ain't supposed to be here. Not like to say the CFL is not a great league, but you know, just trying to be great. You know, so I landed in Vancouver. And I remember when I first looked Vancouver, British Columbia up, I'm like, is this where I'm going? I said, this looked like a vacation. So, I came in, it was sunny, and you saw the water, and you saw ice caps on mountains in the same summer day. And I said, man, it's going to be crazy. But I was still very determined. And I remember, you know, I won't say the guy's name because it's not about that, but I'm just giving you my mindset.
Yep.
I remember being so mad. You gotta remember, I'm not too far removed from my Flint, Michigan roots. So I remember literally being like this close to the guy that was starting, and I'm like behind him, and I'm following him around. Like I was out my freaking mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm following him around, and he would like turn around and look. So hey, Hughes, you remember? You guys remember the movie Friday?
Yeah.
Remember when they was breaking into Stan's house and Smokey was behind him?
Yeah, just creeping up behind him like real.
And Debo turned around like, dang, you know, get off me. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was, man. I was all over this dude.
And he was your teammate?
Nobody was my teammate. I hadn't made any team.
Yeah, okay.
So I got there and I'm walking behind this guy, and it's like, whatever, man. If he want to fight, I'm gonna whoop him. If he want to, whatever. So he go through a drill, you know, do bag drill. I come right behind him. I do it like twice as fast. He do a one-on-one pass rush. He go 1 for 2. I go 2 for 2. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm the rookie. Hey, go again with him. Now I'm 3 for 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how I went. He sit down in the cafeteria. If he eat a chicken breast, I'm eating 2 chicken breasts. You know what I'm saying, Chuck? Chuck, no.
So,
you know, it was that. I remember hearing this song. You know, Vancouver got different, like kind of cool, mellow, pop music, chill music. What was this song called? Man, I don't want to sing it for you, man. It had this little.
Go ahead and sing it for me.
Boop, 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 boop.
That sound like Usher right there.
It was a girl singing. Listen to a lot of Coldplay up there.
Give me some love.
That's the song.
Which ring is that?
That's the Northwood Championship
that's the one we won at Northwood, baby.
Nice.
Yeah. A little bit of jewelry out this thing. But and then I didn't really, start enjoying Vancouver till after I met the team. I was named the starter after the first 2 weeks. And I was out there playing ball and just driving around. It was I mean, Vancouver is a freaking awesome city. It's like top 5 places to live in the whole planet.
Yeah.
Not just the country or the continent, the whole planet. So, I miss Vancouver, man. Sushi Plus. I miss going to Central City. I miss going to the Thai cuisines, man. You can go from the beach to the mountains to the lakes in the same day. Everybody was just laid back, chill. And then we had such a camaraderie in 2006. Arguably one of the greatest CFL teams of all time, man. So much talent on that team.
Yeah.
And, oh my God.
Chuck, you won't even remember who was on that team, Chuck, probably.
I think I know the D lineman he talking about too. It's either Aaron Hunt.
That's one of them. Chris Wilson. We had
Brent Johnson.
Yes, sir. Then we had Big Tyrone Williams.
Okay.
We had Otis Floyd, that linebacker.
Yeah.
We had Carl Kidd, that linebacker.
Oh, crazy Carl Kidd.
We had Javier Glatt. I don't gotta open no book to remember these guys. So you gotta understand with the ratio.
Yep.
One of the things that made it so great was we had such good Canadian talent on offense, man. We had Paris Jackson. We had Claremont. Man, can nobody take Claremont at the tight end, man?
Hold on, Johan. You'll get a crack out of this one. What do you think about Rob Murphy?
The O-lineman?
Yeah.
None of them can really block me. So I don't know what to say. I thought he was good. He got voted to a lot of Pro Bowls. I thought he did his job on game day. But I was, my man, and it's just a competitive mentality. Nothing towards Murph, man. Murph was a dog. He was gonna fight. He'd bite your finger if you put it in his helmet now. He gonna scrap, and that's what people, I wish if I could get my hands on a special or some type of behind the scenes of that team.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the talent, it was our culture and our camaraderie. Like we would argue an argument can break out in the middle of a restaurant. You would think it was pandemonium, and then the waiter's just like, oh, that's just the BC Lions. They back there at the Shark Club just fighting over. It can be whatever, man. Who's the best Michael ever? Michael Jackson. No, it's not. It's Michael Johnson. And then we get to fighting, and then, well, that's why you fumbled in the game. And then I'm gonna show you in practice, and then we get to practice hard. It carries all the way over to the game, and then hit repeat. It was just crazy.
You remember who your quarterback was back then?
Yeah, man. We had the great Casey Prentice, baby. We had Casey Prentice. We had Jarius Jackson. We had one of my good friends, the Winnipeg All-Star. Buck Pierce.
Okay. Yeah.
Buck Pierce, the barbecue sauce maker. I know. I keep up with my dogs, man. My dogs still doing their thing. Who else we had on that team? Y'all know G-Roy's all time. We had a guy named Ryan Thelwell.
Yeah,
that's my guy right there.
You know, so we was loaded up with Canadian talent, so we can put the American talent anywhere. We didn't have to, and then let's just be real about it. Y'all know every now and again you can cut a good American player in another position because you have to fill a position that you're weak at on the Canadian role. Say you got a Canadian O lineman that's just not cutting it at all.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a subpar American O lineman that'll make the team, and then you lose like you have 4 awesome DBs and 2 of them get cut because you know what I'm saying. So Wally did a great job as a coach and a GM for putting that team together the way he did. But then just he'll let us boil over in the game. He never held us back. He put a few guys out there, Mark Washington, Baron Davis, and I would say Big T. I don't think Big T was such a mentor. He was just so big and strong. We listened to him.
I mean, Chris,
like, hey, chill out.
you talk, Chris, your memory is, you can tell you're on, these guys, you have such great memories of that team, and you can tell that you have great experiences, and just the guys like that, to be able to name off almost your whole starting D and O.
We had Ryan Phillips, who I still talk to. We got Dante Marsh, I'm still cool with. We had Ryan, we had Lamar Glover.
Like that's your whole defense you named there. Like you said, a majority of those guys, even guys like Javi Glatt, they were all-stars, years before, years after. And like you said, whether they're Canadian or American, they all had significant impact on where they played. Like it was the whole.
We had Jamal Johnson.
Yeah.
Linebacker Jamal Johnson.
Yeah.
This dude was we was smoking teams, man. We would go out there and I remember the DB would be dancing at halftime to whatever music they played. Not at halftime, but during commercial breaks.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where, Mark Washington's hands was full trying to control us because he was like Wally's only person say, just make sure they don't go too far. These guys don't got any breaks. And it was stressful, but we had no, we didn't have him. That was 05 when we had Baron Simpson.
Baron was on that team too, but it was probably all influenced by Corey Banks.
Corey Banks, oh my God. This guy came over there and started talking so much trash, man. Corey Banks called me. Look, Corey Banks and Dante Marsh called me on 3-way while I'm in the NFL. They like, I see, they used to call me Sway. They call me Sway because they say I walk like my back would have had a sway in it, like I was sway up. So that stuck with me since I was a rookie. So they'd be like, so Corey called me with Marsh on 3-way. Not on 3-way, but in the background. Hey, Sway, I see you doing your thing, Sway. I'm rooting for you. Marsh and them out here hating on you. They don't want you to succeed. But I want you to go ahead. It was nonstop, man.
Trash talking even you.
Trash talking me, trash talking Marsh, trash talking everybody. But look what came of it. Lockdown University came out when you got Ryan, Dante Marsh, Corey Banks. They used to talk so much trash to each other. They were competing against each other. So I played during a time where there were no assist tackles. So I'm trying to get to the ball so hard because if I don't touch this guy first, I have no stats.
Yeah.
So that's what made me so tenacious. I'm running, and the guy's clearly not going to get a gain, and I'm diving because I don't want Otis to get – I want to get the stat over Otis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Aaron Hunt. I used to always I was a good pass rusher, and sometimes I get back there first. And I'll be honest, like half the time I missed the guy and Aaron to get the sack, and he'd just get up laughing and smiling. He had the celebration. Doing like this.
Yeah.
No like, credit to you. Keep feeding me, baby. You keep missing tackles. That's the type of
in 2006, that was the year that the Grey Cup, the Kelly Bates broke the Grey Cup. Was that the game that? Yeah. Okay. I was in Winnipeg for that game. I was there.
Freaking freezing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cold. And that was when Yeah, the Grey Cup broke. Bates was holding it, and all of a sudden,
Kelly Bates,
yeah,
boom, broke the game. And that just defines the type of bunch of guys we were.
yeah, yeah. And then I remember,
It was so bad. See, I practiced against Kelly. We won the Grey Cup together. I go
yeah,
back to BC.
He coaching.
He's coaching.
yeah,
I'm still jawing at him so bad. You know, one time he had to come up to me like, "Look, dude, look, I know we cool, man, but I'm a coach now, man. Stuff that you saying to me is gonna make these players lose respect for me, man.
Yeah.
You gotta respect me out there." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, babe. Like, and I'm just won't stop. But I'm like, all right, babe, so I got you, man. He know I don't mean nothing by it. He know my heart, but
yeah.
the coach was just a little bit different when I got back. But it was a great victory lap. Even after I got a picture somewhere, even when I got released, we all went out to Earl's. You know, curfew wasn't a thing. If we got in trouble, we was gonna run our little sprints and then just be done. You know what I mean? It was just whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it was great. It was just a great time.
So
Probably
then, probably the what?
maybe the best team as far as just a team. Definitely the funnest team I ever played for was that '06 Grey Cup team.
So let's get into then. Okay, so you win the Grey Cup. That's the great moment. You know, you're doing that. You get a chance then to go into the NFL, and this is the moment. Now you've been kind of pissed off from not going there before. Now you had a blast in Canada. You win the Grey Cup. You met a bunch of guys. You get your chance to go to the NFL. What was that like? How was that the transition and
Yeah,
the talent you saw there, the traveling,
yeah,
you're playing on Sundays now. Is you're from Michigan, you've seen this all your life. Tell us about that.
and and I'm sure Chuck can attribute, even his time at the Eagles,
Yeah.
but the pace was so much faster. Like I remember bag drill was supposed to be like we warming up, getting ready for practice. I remember being in OTAs and we going through these drills so freaking fast. I'm like, man, Chuck, am I lying?
No,
I'm talking
he ain't
about
lying at all.
I gotta ice my Achilles in OTAs, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's a bigger prize. It's more competition. I remember lifting weights, and at that time, I was the second smallest D lineman in the whole NFL. The only D lineman smaller than me was Robert Mathis, the great pass rusher for the Colts.
Great.
So I remember, man, being in the weight room. And we were doing like 1 arm, and this is new stuff to me, but it's not anymore. But at the time it was. We doing 1 arm bench press, holding the bridge on the physio ball, 1 arm bench press with dumbbells. And Andre Carter is in there doing it, and I'm looking like everybody else doing it, so I'm just doing it too. So whatever way he do, I'm doing. I remember my doggone rotator cuffs was feeling so like it was just about to tear. I'm like, man, I'm not even gonna make it to the regular camp. I wasn't going out. I wasn't doing nothing. I was going home. I was iced. I was going to sleep. This is just for the workouts. But that's just how competitive I was too. And once I got conditioned to it, I became decent. I met Mike Sellers as soon as I got there.
Good, the fullback, number 45. Yeah.
So Mike Sellers is a great CFL player. When I played the CFL, Mike took me under his wing, him and Rock Cartwright. And they basically just taught me how to be a pro. They mentored me before everything happened. They say, look, man, special teams, that's how you going, they kept it real with me. And, a young kid or a young rookie be like, no, forget that. I'm starting. I'm good enough to start, which I was. But they broke it down to me from a business standpoint. Like, look, special teams going to keep you on the team. After that, you can compete for a starting spot. He said they pay the guy on the other side of you $20 million. I said these guys want a return on their investment. They don't care who the best person is. They want whoever they pay to do the job to do it, or else it's gonna look bad. So I took that very serious. And Danny Smith was a coach there that took me big speed and just learning. I went from defensive end to outside linebacker in the 4-3, outside linebacker in the 3-4. I played a D tackle because I got a quarterback sack against Eli from a substitution era. I'm like, well, I ain't coming out the game. I rushed from a 3 technique and did a little spin move, and they kept me there in the special package. And I played a little corner on the goal line, and I got a chance to play with London Fletcher, who taught me a great deal about the game. Coach Kirk Alabadati. I really became a student of the game. Freaking Sean McVay was coaching there when I was there. He was running around with the tight ends coach, and now look at him. So just a ton of talent, man. A ton of talent. So I had to adjust to that. And my mindset was just if I go home, I'm gonna go home in a cast or something. You know what I mean? I just had to make sure I gave it my very best. I couldn't just go home because, oh man, I may have to sit this one out, man. I remember both hamstrings being sore, and just like if they pop, they just gonna have to pop because I ain't about to stop, But I say that, but with that also came the professionalism. Hey man, come do this prehab. Prehab. Yeah, that's to prevent yourself from getting hurt. So I got in the ice up every single day and did what I had to do, and staying away from the alcohol and just try to give myself the best shot. Was able to sustain it for 5 years.
So with that, what was it like? Charleston always talks about. We always talk about some of our best memories of Philly or when he was there. And what do you remember the most about the NFL? What's your kind of when you sit back and if you were to tell your 3 kids, to do that, what are some of the moments that stand out in the NFL? Like, I mean, your first year, you had the legendary coach Joe Gibbs, and you come from Wallachia, and you have all these great mentors, great people around you. You had all-stars. What do you remember about your time in the NFL that pops out?
Yeah, I mean, how many people my age can say they played for Joe Gibbs?
Yeah, not too many. Not
too many at all. Joe, the camaraderie, the family. One time I got to the NFL, I was a 25-year-old rookie. I matured a great deal there. We was a family. Some of my teammates there, we had kids that's the same age, and we learned about family, learned about marriage and parenting, and just how to walk, with God, and it was like an incubator, and I just really grew a lot. I played with Sean Taylor, for that year, and he was a great soul, and just how great he was, and some of the ways that I seen him prepare for the game, I never even saw or thought about, and it's stories like these that I have that nobody else knows. I'll give you an example. I seen Sean Taylor preparing to play against the Green Bay Packers. And he's on the field by himself, man. And, everybody was scared of Sean anyway because he was so freaking vicious and talented, but he was just kind of a quiet guy. And he'd talk to you, but just not the flamboyant guy when the cameras was around. So,
yeah.
I'm talking to Sean. I'm like, man, what are you doing, man? He kind of on the field looking around, kind of like, remember Shep and Nutso? Chuck?
Yeah.
I'm looking at Sean like, man, I don't know what he doing. I'm like, what are you doing? I finally asked him. And then he said, yeah. And as he talking to me, he like looking around. He's on the field by himself, man. He looking around and he looking like this and he looking over here like that. And he got his back pedal a little bit and he had break. And he said he had watched Brett Favre on film. And he said he don't think none of his passes went a certain distance in the air. So he was getting his braking angles together. At that time, after that, never heard of nothing like that. So in the film room, I'm looking at it. I don't know a whole lot about film. I'm a rookie. And I say that, respect,
Yeah.
Respect. I knew what I knew, but I didn't know what I was going to learn. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching them throw on film, and sure enough, I started looking. I said, okay, that's the line of scrimmage. All right, that's about 40 to 45 yards. Okay, that's the line of scrimmage. I said, man, this dude right. So he switched his break angle so he wouldn't be too deep on the ball. And if you guys remember, that week he had 3 interceptions on Brett Favre. He could have had 5. He dropped 2. And he was almost literally covering numbers to numbers. Like a cheat dude on Tecmo Bowl. Like he was really a cheat player. And I said, wow, like people had no idea. Just the mental. That's just one thing I saw him do. I don't even know what he really used to do all the time. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, they watching how far you throw it.
Yeah, that's crazy when you can get to that level to process, the game clip by clip, second by second, to go like all you got to do is change your angle from 45 to 90, from 90 to 120, and you'll catch that many more picks just by covering.
And it gives you that much of an advantage. Now, one guy I don't need to have the advantage on me is freaking Sean Taylor. Hey, you already got the advantage. I remember beating him.
How did that change for you in the way you watch film on just going against O-linemen, going against pass rushing?
I was just a sponge, man. I sat in the room with London Fletcher. Mm-hmm. One of my good friends, Lorendo Alexander, who was on practice squad, and then my rookie year, he made the team. We became very good friends, and shoot, my best friend. That's like I don't even call him my friend, really. My kids call him Uncle So. But he gave me some advice one time. He said, "Chris, man, you be trying to hit people too hard." He said, "Man, just make a big tackle, man. Forget a big hit, make a big tackle. The hit's gonna come." Bam, I took heat. I had one of my best years ever. Just because I looked at the game, because that Flint Saginaw thing, we try to intimidate. Everything's about intimidation. So that's why when Flint will play against Saginaw, I don't know why we thought we could intimidate one another. It was going to eventually come down to football, but that's all we do. Be like, look, I'm going to come out here. Same thing when we was at Northwood. What'd I say? I'm going to hit this fool back in his ear. And then after that, we going to dominate. They're going to be scared. That's what happened. But once you get past all that, you got to learn the game. And, I just learned so much from those guys and those coaches, learn how to be a pro. And it was just the time for me to grow up. And, I was just fortunate enough to do it in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I still love the game. Made me a great coach even to have all those experiences with all those different positions and different people. So,
yeah, I mean, and some of the guys you mentioned, like, London Fletcher, how many years was he all pro, and, his time and just the knowledge that you could be able to soak up, and I'm sure Charleston.
He kind of set the pace for like undersized linebackers too, because he ain't no big dude. He a little guy.
Whether they're Buffalo or Washington, but I'm sure Charleston. Do you get a lot of that now with guys coming up and asking you the same thing, or looking to that kind of advice as the mentor and kind of passing down your knowledge that you do?
Man, these little rookies come up here and they just be trailing. Like he was trailing that veteran dude that was in front of him. And these little guys be coming up here trailing me, and they trying to do everything that I'm doing. And I just tell them, like, look, man, you can't do everything I'm doing.
Hey, and I second that, man, because Chuck does not have good technique. And I will say this on camera: Lamar Woodley has poor technique. It's some of these Saginaw dudes. Man.
Oh wow!
I watch because they know how to get the job done.
They get the job done with poor technique, and they do. It's the truth. I'm like, no, don't limit yourself after Lamar Woodley. He's like 10 times stronger than you. You can't do that. So it's like you practicing my Reggie White hump. Like, who I'm a hump? That's not happening. So we used to watch Woodley all the time because they played a 3-4. We played a 3-4. This dude have the wrong foot up. He punched with his doggone outside arm strong instead of his inside strong. But when the ball comes, he just make a play. That's tough.
Yeah, I tell all the rookies, do as I say, not as I do. I'm gonna do what I think is right to make a play. But if I tell you to do it the right way, and you'll still make the play, but sometimes I just go off key and then I gotta do it my way.
Let me ask this, Chuck. Do you have any advice to offer? Because Chuck, this is Chuck right here. Hey man, that was a good play you made, man. What's some ways you approach the game? Like, shoot, man, just don't let them block you.
Yeah, that sounds like him. Some of the advice he gives and yeah.
Great advice.
Well, but it seems like, Chris, you seem like, to me, this is the first time I've met you. You seem like you're very technical. Just the way that your mind works, the way you teach as a coach. Is that the way you're doing right now? You're very, into the technical part of the game, and you're teaching the kids how to do that. Or do you see that talent like Chuck and you go, oh man, I can't coach that, man. Just go get the job done.
I can because at the end of the day, you can gamble, but you gotta understand the risk. If you gamble and win, great job. If you gamble and lose, get out. Give me the next guy. You know, listen. You know what I'm saying? And as a coach, what you don't want to do is take away what you cannot coach, which is great instincts.
Yeah.
Instincts, it's a real thing. Everything is not methodical, strategical, X's and O's. Sometimes you got Jimmys and Joes. And you got strength, you got speed, you also got instincts, which is just the ability to anticipate. And sometimes we play this game so long, somebody can explain it and maybe somebody else can't. Like, I don't know what I saw, what made me do that. But you saw something was different. That guy could have been a foot wider, just 1 foot, 12 inches. A guy could have looked the wrong. I remember playing against your team, Chuck. I brought a little something for you too, Chuck, man.
Oh,
man. No, man, this ain't nothing bad.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
hey.
You feel me?
There you go.
That was my first ever jersey swap.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is the only opportunity I'm going to get to do something like this, a jersey swap with somebody that I went to Northwood with. Yeah. We both played in the same league together. We played in the CFL together.
That's not going to fit, Chris. Oh, shit.
I'm bigger than him.
Let's go, baby.
Look at that.
Yeah,
So
that's what an old pipe look like.
Which jersey did you get, Charleston? You got
Chris? I got his DC Lions number 90.
Okay, you got the Lions one. Okay.
Man, I wish I had it on me. I'll put it on right now. I took it home, put it on my
wall. So I can explain this now, but I remember playing against Calvary, and I hope y'all don't still run this dumb play. Y'all had Henry Burrs, who was a great quarterback. Y'all used to run like a little bunch. I used to run a bunch, and then what y'all do is run this toss where the point man in the bunch to crack the defensive end and pull the tackle. Y'all, they still run that play?
Yes, they do.
That play is trash, man. Trash. Go pull up some 06 film and see if they ever got that play off on me. I don't think they got it off on me one time, man.
And it still work on some of these defensive ends, man. But Calgary, that's that old Huffnagel play. So they ain't gonna never get off that play. You're gonna continue to run it.
So I, one time they lined up in this play, and I jumped before the play outside of the point man and rush. Coach, I make the play, but the coach is like, Chris, man, don't do that. Stay inside, do this. I'm trying to think. Another time I jumped in there, and all it was this simple. They was telling me what they was going to do by who they was looking at. If the tackle was looking at him, he finna down block. If you looking at me, and then this dude's looking at me, his work is over there. What are you looking at me for? I'm like, oh, here it comes. And I'll just go. You know what I mean? And if I didn't, you got to know what you can bet on. Like, okay, I'm betting on speed because I was a fast guy. If I'm wrong, I'll make up for it and be fine. So it's those type of things that I fell in love with about the game. I always loved the game, but when I started learning how to turn it into chess, I really started loving the game.
Nice. And so with that, who do you remember? And let's go with CFL and NFL. Who do you remember that you really admire about the CFL that really stands out as someone that played that game of chess, or that you remember that was such a great athlete that didn't have to? And then same thing in the NFL. Was there one or two players that you were out there watching and you're like, holy crap, this guy is awesome, or this guy knows the game so well? Like you mentioned Sean Taylor, like to be able to think like that and to be able to then go out and do it. That's two things. So anybody that stands out CFL than NFL?
So let's go CFL first. I admired the old Edmonton Eskimo, Joe Mumford.
Yeah.
And the reason I like Joe Mumford because he had so many different moves. And when I got to the CFL, he was the old Joe Mumford, and they had a young guy, Rashad Jenty, who was the younger guy like myself. So I'm watching the guy who now can't rely, kind of like Chuck. Chuck is older. It is what it is. Chuck is making plays different ways than he made plays when he first got there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that was a nice move. He killed him. He hit him with the chop on the wrist, and then he just kind of hit, pent the arm. And I'm just watching different ways he's just winning. So that's one there. And honestly, I admired a lot of guys that was on my own team. I didn't play wide receiver, but I admired G. Roy Simon and just that culture of that receiver core. I admired Jason Claremont. Man, me and Jason Claremont was about to fight. I mean, a real fight. I don't mean like arguing. Me and Jason Claremont was about to fight in like a walkthrough. So we're in a walkthrough, and I don't know who Driller was. Now that I look back on it, I might have been wrong. I think I was servicing the offense, and I'm going through my progression. It's the day before the game, so I'm doing what I do, and I make a play. We like this, no pads on, and he's like, "Yeah, what do you be in practice here?" Or somebody said to me. I'm like, whatever. So then he came off and hit me harder than I thought he needed to with no pads on. So then the next play, I went and hit him, and then we started. They had to call a practice. I mean. No love lost, but that's the type of bunch we were in 06, man. But afterwards, you respect.
Leave that Flint stuff at home. Leave that stuff in Michigan. That's what they should have told you.
Well, where's Claremont from? He needs that Ontario.
Regina, Saskatchewan.
No, that's here. He's from here.
Oh, Regina. Yeah. He used to spit all the time. I used to be like, ugh. What you just like you always cotton mouth all the time. But you know what I'm saying? But later on, when you talk about guys you admire, I admire that. Because, win or lose, this is a guy that can get the job done that's going to fight. And one of the things I was going to say earlier about that 06 team, as talented as we were a very scrappy team. And that's what people didn't want to deal with. Even if you could deal with it, you ain't want to. Like, man, we still fighting these dudes. Oh, now here come I'm dealing with Chris Wilson. Oh, now here come Carl Kidd. Oh, now here come Corey Banks. Man, all these guys I'm sick of it. I don't like these guys. And then from the NFL, I actually always admired Robert Mathis. Since Northwood, Chuck can tell you, I used to play the John Madden football, and I used to look up the whole roster, just straight players. And back then you can put them in order, and I would look up all the defensive ends, and then I would put them in order from weight, and I'd go scroll down all of them to see what the smallest one was, and it was Robert Mathis. So I watched him play in real life. I said, "Oh, this dude decent." So I took him out. I used to take Brock. I used to take Brock out the game, and I had the White Freeney and Robert Mathis as my defensive ends, and I used to just root for him because he was an undersized DN, which is I was a tweener DN at Northwood, and he might be on pace, possible Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? But he really did it on a whole nother level. And I met him one time at the Hall of Fame game. So that was pretty cool. I admire, smart guys. Nolan Harrison. My boy Lorenzo Alexander. We was in DC, man. I remember we got locked out. We was on Capitol Hill lobbying. I had experience lobbying, so I'm lobbying. I learned a great deal, man. So it was just an awesome experience.
I bet. Yeah. And Chuck, what else do you got to say to Chris?
I don't got nothing to say. I thought he was gonna say, I admire Charleston for making me the player making me the player who I was, helping me get to the NFL, helping me get to the CFL, taking all those L's.
How many people can say this on air and it be true? Charleston didn't beat me in nothing, man. he wasn't seasoned yet. You know what I mean? I knew he was coming. I felt him right behind me. But nobody can say that, man. I used to beat Charleston in the sprints. Charleston would have raced again. I'd be like, nah, it's over now. You lost.
Well, that is definitely a first, Chris. I think
I used to beat him in the weight room. He started getting stronger. I said, nah, man, I'm tired of beating you. I'm tired of beating you.
So you had the head games, Chris. You had the head games.
I'm the winner.
Yeah. You definitely are the first guest to ever say that in every way. And Charleston, I've never heard him this quiet before.
Yeah,
so,
man,
sometimes you just gotta let him.
now.
Look on my screen right now. You see all these people watching me?
They're laughing too. They're laughing too.
Right. Yeah. It's just good timing.
Well, that's good, Chris. So what do you do nowadays, or what do you have anything that you're doing that you'd like to be able to promote or talk about, or coaching, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I do a lot, but if I can promote two things, one thing I'm doing, I'm a rookie right now in the financial industry. So in the finance industry, I'm a finance professional and just learning so many things that was kind of right there, but we just never knew. So I'm excited to be telling everybody about that. And as I continue to develop there, one of the things I'm looking forward to doing is just getting that information to young athletes, kind of like a Back to the Future. If I can go back and tell myself to get that little book to who was it, McDuffie, whatever. So I'm practicing that. Just fun allocation where you can get the most growth, understanding finances, putting things in perspective. So nothing, everything's complimentary. We have our own way of how we get compensated, but that's pretty cool. So, if you look me up there, ask me about anything of that nature. And then coaching, I am coaching, man. So, one of the things that COVID produced that was good, my kids were signed up to play football. COVID came, a lot of teams folded, man. And, I really felt my heart just was heavy because, I got two sons, one's 10, the other one's 7. They were going to play on the same team. And one great thing about our sport is it creates a life simulator. My kid's not gonna know how to deal with anything on his tablet, you know what I mean? But in the game of football, it simulates so many different things. It simulates adversity, it simulates effort, it simulates attitude, work ethic, toughness, all the things you really need to be a man. And now, we just talk so much about the thinking part of the game.
Yeah,
I didn't want to mix that with my sons. So I was just gonna start doing some training with them. Got with my neighbor, and I ended up having my own football team. So we went we own full tackle football team. It's a lot of people that talk about the contact aspect of the game, but I look at it from a different way. Some people say, hey, well, I'm not gonna let my kid play full contact till they get older. I say let them play while they're young, especially with a guy like myself that can teach them how to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, when they get older, they'll know what they're doing instead of going off of football for the first time and doing it wrong.
Yeah,
I think that puts you at more risk. Or going out there and it's a kid that's been dreaming of this his whole life, and it's your first time playing ball, and you get smoked by a kid and you never seen it coming. It's called the Faith Family Football Club. I just partnered with another group. I don't want to say right now just because things get real political, but just in the process of starting my own football league, for the city of Flint, Michigan. So if anybody's interested on how they can be a part of that, donate or contribute, so many ways you can. Just reach out to me via social media. Chris Wilson on Facebook, CWIL95 FLINT on Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, if you want to check that out a little bit, I guess a little bit of footage. It's called the team I had was the Faith Family Football Club. and we were called the Saints. It's some Instagram footage there. You can just see the kids getting better, learning how to tackle. Difference putting your foot on the ground. I got so much stuff to teach that I feel like when I was growing up, coaches was just yelling at us to be tough. You gotta run in there,
100%,
and you can't be scared. Give me somebody else. Give me somebody else. He's scared, and it's like nobody taught me how to run in there and put my foot on the ground and how to hit with both feet on the ground as opposed to one foot on the ground. Keep your head up, eyes open. How to latch on as a blocker and drive the steering wheel and even moves the chop. What you do when somebody grab you. They told me, yeah, hey, I said they hold me, coach. They like, well, that's your fault for letting them. Well, you got to move for me, coach. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it. So, it's nothing more satisfying than putting the kid in position to be successful. And it translates from the field and right into life. I love to see their reaction, even their face, like, oh, yeah, that worked right there. I'm gonna do that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they go out there and continue to try even harder. And, hey, coach, what about this? And I can give them something else as they develop. So in the process of having my own football league, and I'm excited about that.
Good for you. I mean, I think it's something with you Michigan boys because Charleston is doing the same thing here in Regina.
Oh, wow.
He's got his camp that he's doing with kids, and he's doing that throughout here in Saskatchewan where he's going out. He was helping out my son's a receiver, but even Charleston was taking him out and teaching him footwork and trying to be able to do that and breaking it down for other kids that are linebackers and DNs, and his teammate Mac Henry here was doing the same thing, and they're trying to be able to go and, like you said, Chris, teach them at an early age to be able to get into the proper techniques and give them a different way of thinking instead of yelling. And to do that, I think, and that's the most important thing I think right now, that we're able to educate our kids earlier, to be able to be smarter players. It doesn't mean they're not going to be as tough, but just smarter players.
Yeah, I think they'll be tough, but these days, when you're in the house all day or on your tablet all day, you don't experience disappointment. You ask a kid to do something they can't do, and you see that look on his face, and they feel like crying because they can't do it. That's a part of life. Yeah. You got to learn how to overcome different things like that and how to keep trying. And then when they finally do it, they understand, okay, if I can continue to work at it, I will get it. So I can create so many moments like that, coaching football, and I'm a track guy as well. I'm faster than Chuck.
Yeah, you said that a few times. I like that. So, that's, like I said, I think that's fantastic. Charleston's doing a great job here too in doing that. And the one other aspect you touched on about financially, I think I've been a fan of the game since I was a kid and watching the BC Lions and Argos in '83, and I'm a big Argo fan. But I've hung around here, being in Canada. I've been lucky enough to watch a lot of players and to get to know a lot of players, throughout my many years here. The one thing that always seemed to come back is that the players, when they get older, some of the players, not all of them, but some of them always come back with the thought of, man, I wish I was more financially smart, or if I wish I would have. You've seen too many times, and not just in the CFL, you see this in the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, every league. But if they could have an advisor, or if they would have listened to someone, or if they would have had the opportunity to be a little bit financially more sound, their life would have been easier as they grew up. Right.
The thing that's hard about it is you hear so many horror stories about people getting robbed by these financial advisors and experts that they don't know. So
it's
the player,
hard to put your trust into somebody like that.
Yeah,
right?
I can give it to you from both sides. As a player, I'm like, I don't know this guy. If I'm gonna lose my money or get robbed, I'd rather blow my money at Disney World than let this guy. I don't know. At least my kids had a good time and I got pictures.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard too many stories about financial advice. I have heard some, but I mean, I give you a little snippet, just a small example. And I'm giving you, my history, Flint to Northwood to Canada to the pros, and then now it's like, wow. So just learning where to allocate funds where you can get the most interest in lowering the risk, uh, having no risk. You know, I'm learning terms like indexed interest that I never learned, not even at Northwood. Maybe they said it. I don't think so. They could have. They could have said it. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. I don't know.
You didn't pay attention that day.
Yeah.
Taking too many of them subby classes.
So check it out. So I remember maybe the light just turned on for me, or maybe this is such an awesome profound thing I'm about to say, but they said I was talking to a financial friend of mine, and this is before I actually jumped into the industry, but he said, Chris, you do realize that finances is the management of cash flow, not the management of cash. He said, if you got a whole lot of cash, you don't have any finances, you're just spending money. You're not managing. It has to be a flow, which is, the first of our 6 pillars, the most important one. You got to have cash flow. You don't have cash flow, you don't have any finances.
Yeah.
One of the most common misconceptions when you're a kid, when I go to the NFL, I'll be set for life. Or when I get to the NFL, because I've accumulated a large lump sum of money, I have finances.
Yeah.
Well, the name of the game was to turn that into cash flow. That was the name of the game. But and there's no, I'm not making excuses, but my mindset was just, man, if I could see to the NFL, I couldn't see past it. And being from Flint, being able to see to the NFL, that's eagle vision. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think as parents, it's our responsibility to learn this stuff and prepare our children, because the money's not gonna have a whole lot of time to mature if you learn it yourself and do it. And the different models that I've learned to build generational wealth for families are 3 generations long.
Yeah.
It's me being able to have something ready for my kids and putting things away from my grandkids. And by the time they mature enough mentally to understand what I did, oh, that's what granddaddy did. Bam, I'm gonna do that for my kids, my grandkids, and even putting all that in the will and testament to have these finances ordered to work that way. And it don't take a whole lot of money. That's another misconception. I'm thinking like, well, how much? What I need to do? Like, it's just everything worked the same. 1%, 10%, 100%, 1,000%. Everything worked the same on different levels. So it's just about learning it and putting it into place. And it'll be a strain at first, but we've struggled to survive. So why can't we struggle to thrive?
Yeah. This is no, and I love the way that you said that too, as not only doing that, you're doing that for your clients, but also we need to teach that to our kids. We need to be able to have that for the generations to come. Not only that, but
and do it for our kids. They can't do it for themselves.
Well,
Right.
And that's the thing. It starts with us to be able to do that. And we never got taught that I never got taught that here in Canada. I never got taught, unless my friends did it in maybe accounting university and do that. I was, a phys ed and
when I was when I'm on the other side, when I was on the other side of the camera listening to this information, I felt guilty and convicted. But you 100% right. Nobody taught us. It's not really our fault. And then I'll give you another one. Life's situations. It's like running on a hamster wheel. Sometimes you just don't ever get the time.
Yeah.
No, it's a luxury for us to be sitting here talking. Some people try to figure out what their kids gonna eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's what their kids gonna eat tonight.
Yeah.
Don't know where their next buck coming from. So
yeah,
when you have to pick up and get it at that type of pace, nobody's even listening, trying to figure out how I'm going to save my money for the future. I don't have enough money today.
Yeah.
So it's a process. But it's free. The one thing about the industry is it used to be just for the wealthy, and now the industry is starting to take on the volume of the middle class. These type of complimentary, overviews or whatever that we provide. Back in the day, they were $7,500 just for that. You know what I mean? So, but now it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a big boom in it. Even now, even with the COVID, man, a lot of people are starting to purchase more like insurance policies, which most people think is just the bill you pay for a death benefit. They don't understand it's a financial vehicle to accumulate large interest and put things away and get the tax breaks and the revenue codes and different things that I'm excited and learning right now. So
Good.
as I continue to learn, I'm excited to give back in those type of ways too, man.
Yeah. Good. Well, it seems like you're busy. Seems like you're a lot busier than Charleston and I. But even like I said, just even speaking with you, it kind of it motivates me. It kind of it gets me excited about thinking about that, about going out and us having the opportunity to do that. We're never too old to go out and do that and to start that and keep on learning and to do that. So good for you, Chris. I really appreciate it. I never thought that at the end of one of these Better with Age podcasts, webcasts, I'd be talking financial advice with.
I know financial advice with Chris Wilson.
Man, you forgot we did graduate, baby.
Business school, baby.
There you go. But it's definitely been eye opening. I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to be able to educate us, share some stories. Talk trash with Charleston, which is always key for a lot of these shows. So I really appreciate it.
I know he got my jersey on right now. I wish I could just snap a picture right now. Is it a snap a picture button?
I mean, I'll probably lead the league in sacks right now. If Charleston was number one, I will always be one in front of him.
Yeah.
Even when you came back to the league, you knew who was running the
league.
Man, I dare you to pull any game out, man. I was everybody. Only reason I didn't stay in the league because I didn't want to sign a long-term deal. It was a business thing. I thought I could get back to the NFL from Canada, but it was no love lost. I shook Wally's hand. I said, man, there's no way in the world I can get mad at the guy that gave me my first professional opportunity. Yeah. There's no way I can do it. It sucks, but I can't do it, man. And guys playing, and it's working right now. So, man. I was killing, man.
Well, if you ever change your mind, there's lots of free agency up here this next year. Apparently, we don't know what's going on with the CFL with the free agents and all that. So there might be, if you ever think about maybe getting back into it, we'll see. So
he's slow down. I'll beat you right now.
In what?
I'll beat you in the race right now.
Oh my goodness. You won't, man. You won't, man. Do I need to go get my all-state medals, man?
I think those are the only ones you haven't pulled out yet, for Chris.
These are the closest ones. My whole room is ready for homeschooling right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Chris, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Nothing but the best. I wish you nothing but the best. We're gonna do we'll post your information afterwards. When we post the show, we'll add all your links to it and all your social media tags to it. What we do to kind of finish off the show, Charleston is going to give you some words of wisdom. So Charleston, I think, do you have anything else to add or just your words of wisdom?
I think that's it, man. When he finished on that financial advising stuff, that lets me know right now that the title of this podcast is very fitting for you, sir. It's called the Better with Age podcast. The reason we call it the Better with Age podcast is because there's many things that get better with age. I see after your football career, you've evolved into so much of a different person, a different mindset. You've took your sports mentality and applied it straight to your financial and your business, and you're passing down knowledge to youth and, in leadership, really, just teaching kids how to operate, how to adapt to life situations, life that happens to you. So the reason we call it the Better with Age webcast is because there's many things that get better with age. It could be wine, it could be whiskey, it could be me. My pass rushing ability just keeps evolving, and I just keep getting better. I'm nonstop. I just can't help it. I'm not gonna stop until I pass one of the guys you were in my.
We need one more thing that gets better than age. I mean, alcohol and Charleston Hughes. I need one more thing.
Leather. We got cheese, and the most important of it all is friendships. I've known you since Northwood University, man. You've been one of my greatest friends since Northwood University, all the way up until the current day, and until we get old and I'm in the bed shaking. You better come visit me, and I'm gonna come visit you.
Man, come holler at me, man. when all this is over, can y'all even cross the border right now with the COVID and everything?
We can cross.
It's locked down.
Yeah, we can cross. We have to quarantine after. We got to be Canadian citizens to go into the U.S. and then.
How about this? You write a letter and send a letter to Trudeau to give me a.
Give me the address, man. I'm sending letters. I'm sending books. You know. I'll be back, man. It's a great show too. I'll be back. We recap after you guys read the book.
You know what? What I'm gonna see if I can figure out is if I can get some of your BC Lions teammates. Claremont lives right here in Regina. We'll get him on. We'll see if we can get. I know Kelly Bates personally, but we'll see if you guys can get Carl Kidd. We'll get some of your defensive boys on.
Yeah.
Do that. We'll reach out.
I'll tell you, if y'all would have a great show, I dare you to put Dante Marsh, Corey Banks, and Ryan Phillips on the camera at the same time. I guarantee it's going.
We won't be able to get in the word.
Yeah,
exactly. We'll figure it out, but then we'll definitely give you a call. We'll have you on too. So
I appreciate you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
All the best, Chris. We'll talk to you soon. All the best. Take care.
All right, Sly. What to call you?